Good evening, Carolina. Coming up tonight, a car crash at a local restaurant, a rugby player committing to South Carolina football, and a recap of the best hot hat competition at the Carolina Cup. All that and more tonight on Student News at 7.
Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio.
This is Student News.
Good evening, Carolina. I'm Gabrielle Cassini.
And I'm Lily Kate Snyder, here to give you the latest in news.
Columbia police are investigating. Officers said it happened around 1:30 a.m. following a fight that just broke out before gunfire.
Police say both victims, a man and a woman, suffered lower body injuries, but those injuries are not life-threatening. And investigators are now reviewing surveillance video and speaking with witnesses as they work to find the suspect.
Anyone with information is asked to contact Midlands Crime Stoppers at 188-CRIME-SC. SGTV will continue to follow this story.
A late-night car crash this past weekend into the side of a popular Midlands restaurant was caused by a 16-year-old girl going almost 100 miles per hour down Sunset Boulevard. Police tried to pull her over for reckless driving, but she sped away. The accident has left 2 employees injured, and the establishment will be closed for repairs indefinitely. Here is Isabella Augustino with the story.
There's been a wreck is a phrase very few people want to hear.
And got about halfway down the staircase and then saw the debris and all the dust and smelled the grease trap.
But for the general manager of Black Rooster, Elliot Stegall, this was his Saturday night.
I think most of the staff, including myself, is just still trying to process it.
The Lexington Police Department told media outlets they were pursuing a vehicle around 11 p.m. Saturday night before losing sight of the car. They say the driver of the car was going close to 100 miles per hour down Sunset Boulevard. West Columbia Police Department reports claim the SUV ran off the road, hit a tree, and crashed into the side of Black Rooster. 2 employees of Black Rooster were hurt, and the driver of the SUV was treated for minor injuries. Authorities identified the driver as a 16-year-old girl who reportedly told police she was trying to stop her boyfriend from going to a bar.
Can't ever account for something like this. I'm sure it's going to be a minimum of 2 weeks. We got a lot of repairs and a lot of inspections to go through before then.
Construction and planning crews have already started their work on Black Rooster, including the grease trap that was directly hit. Black Rooster does not have an official reopening date, but Stegall says he's grateful for the community response to the situation. For SGTV News, I'm Isabella Augustino.
SGTV will keep you updated as the story develops.
If you were in downtown Columbia this past Saturday, you probably heard some noise along Main Street. More than 1,000 people gathered at the State House for what's being called the No Kings Rally, protesting ICE policies and President Donald Trump.
Organizers say this wasn't just local. Similar rallies are happening all across the country as a part of the 5051 movement, a national protest network launched in 2025 to oppose policies of the Trump administration. Those who attend say those protests remained peaceful, with people raising concerns about the war in Iran, Epstein files, and voting rights.
This is the second No Kings protest held at the State House in less than a year, with the previous rally taking place back in October. South Carolina's governor race is seeing new pushback as a wealthy outsider enters the field. Ram Reddy, a millionaire low-country activist and businessman from Isle of Palms, is jumping into the Republican primary, pledging $1 million of his own money to take on what he calls a, quote, political ruling class.
Reedy is already a familiar name across the state following his high-profile battle with regulators over a beachfront seawall at his home. His campaign focuses on cutting government power, reducing state agencies, and pushing what he calls constitutional-based leadership.
With the top candidates locked in a tight 3-way race, many voters still undecided. Reddy insists his outsider message will break through.
It won't be long until one of the state's most popular natural events lights up the sky. Congaree National Park will host its annual firefly viewing event from May 13th to May 20th.
The synchronized fireflies are known for their rapid and coordinated flashes and are only one of 3 such species in North America. They use this glowing display as a part of their mating ritual. These bugs thrive in mature forests and wet bottomland habitats like those found at the Congaree.
Because of the growing popularity, the park will be utilizing a lottery system to distribute passes. Park officials say 145 passes will be available each night, with winners announced April 17th. Visitors are asked to follow strict rules to protect the fireflies, including using red filter flashlights and avoiding all cell phone lights in viewing areas.
Teams across the Midlands came together this past Saturday, united by a powerful cause of childhood cancer. Firefighters, families, and healthcare workers and the community took part in the 13th annual Curing Kids Cancer Fire Truck Pool. Each group worked together to pool a full-size fire truck, raising money to make critical breakthroughs in curing childhood cancer.
This event was funded by Granny and Clay Owen after losing their son to cancer in 2005, and instead turned their loss into a mission to find cures. Even firefighters who came straight from an overnight shift came to show their support at this event. You can learn more about the cause at curingkidscancer.org.
Coming up after the break, an update on the Women's March Madness tournament. Stay with us.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dorian Pinkston.
And I'm Carson Batten, here to fill you in on the latest in sports. Keeping you up to date with March Madness, Dawn Staley and her Gamecocks have made it to the Final Four for the 6th year in a row. The team went up against TCU on Monday night and proved why they are one of the best offenses in the country, with top scorers Joyce Edwards and Agot McKeer putting up a combined 42 points.
The Horned Frogs were not quite jumpy enough to keep up with the Gamecocks across the board, with Tessa Johnson also adding 11 points to the board, making her the second team member this season to hit 1,000 career points. With the final score of 78-52, the Gamecocks are going to the Final Four for the 6th year in a row, where they are set to play last year's winners, the undefeated Yukon Huskies.
In this high-stakes rematch of last year's national championship, Staley's team is looking for revenge after falling to the Huskies last year. The Gamecocks and Huskies will face off this Friday night in Phoenix. SGTV will keep you updated on the results.
The men's basketball season may be over, but the offseason is already bringing big changes for Coach Lamont Paris in South Carolina. Assistant coach Will Bailey will not be returning to Columbia next season, making him the second assistant coach to depart, joining Eddie Shannon. Bailey had 2 stints at South Carolina, one under head coach Frank Martin from 2020 to 2022, before rejoining the program ahead of the 2024-25 season.
On the court, the Gamecocks finished 13-19 this season and just 4-14 in the SEC, landing 14th in the conference standings. And the roster could see even more turnover. 4 Gamecocks are expected to enter the transfer portal when it opens next month. Center Jordan Butler, forward E.J. Walker, guard Eli Ellis, and forward Elijah Strong. As for Bailey, it isn't clear what his next move may be, but a return to Loyola Chicago, where he was before his return to the Gamecocks, could be on the table.
If you were told that an Irish rugby player with no football experience would be committing to a Division I football program, you probably wouldn't believe it. But that's exactly what happened here at South Carolina. Standing at 6'8", Nef Jiwa, a 20-year-old Nigerian Irishman, has signed with the Gamecocks, the team announced on social media. Giwa received his first offer from the University of Miami, with more Power 4 programs like North Carolina, SMU, and Texas quickly joining in. In the end, it was South Carolina who piqued his interest the most. As a class of 2026 recruit, Giwa will enroll at USC this summer and be on the Falls team as an offensive lineman.
It is hard to know exactly what the Gamecocks are getting from Jiwa, and it seems unlikely that he will see many meaningful snaps. However, there is speculation that he could see the field in other ways. Shane Beamer could get a leg up by having the 6'7" giant to block kicks on Saturday, and USC special teams coordinator Matthew Smiley isn't unfamiliar with the concept. Smiley has used offensive linemen before on field goal block units, and at his time with the Buffalo Bills, he coached rugby-turned-football players like running back Christian Wade. The season starts Saturday, September 5th, where we will see exactly what Gamecock football has in mind for this captivating player.
The state of South Carolina was off to the races this past Saturday as many traveled to Camden for the 91st Annual Carolina Cup. The beloved tradition has been around for decades and is always a spectacle, and this year was no exception.
Horses Beyond Reproach and $10 a Glass were predicted to have excellent showings in the first race of hurdles, but ended up taking second and third behind On the Couch, trained by Todd McKenna and ridden by Jay Bargery. In the main event of the day, the 2-mile and 1 furlong race, Kentucky-bred thoroughbred Swore and jockey S. Mulqueen took the lead, winning a total of $75,000 for his owner, Stone Farm LLC.
Other notables of the day include Mary Maker, who won the Camden Plate in the 5th race, and Pleasant Fantasy, who won the maiden hurdle. Keep watching to hear from our entertainment team on the Cup's best and most extravagant outfits.
Coming up after the break, South Carolina could be getting a new state song. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, Carolina. I'm Mary Smithnosky.
And I'm Zoey Pippin. Now it's time for an update on the exciting events at USC. Harry Styles is coming to Columbia.
April Fools.
Harry isn't making a stop in Columbia anytime soon, but his fans will be gathering at the Senate this Friday night for a Harry Styles dance party.
In celebration of Harry's new album titled Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, the Senate is hosting what they're calling Disco Always, a Harry Styles dance night. The Senate's DJ will be spinning Harry Styles, One Direction, and other dance floor favorites all night long. The doors open at 8 p.m. and music starts at 9. The event is 18+, so make sure to bring your ID, and a clear bag policy will be enforced. Tickets are still available on Ticketmaster or at whatthedance.com. It might not be the real Harry, but the night promises to be just as fun as if he were there himself.
The horse races were a major part of the Carolina Cup this weekend, but for attendees, the outfits were just as important.
The coolest hat and best dressed competitions took place as spectators dressed like you would expect for the Kentucky Derby. Fans showed up in a range of hats and outfits, but the judges had their eyes on a specific few. Although most hats were made of floral arrangements, Jordan Hutto took the title with a hat made of beer boxes such as Busch Light. On the best dressed side, local couple Ken and Leanne Moon won for their colonial outfits in celebration of 250 years of America. It was their 6th year dressing up for the competition.
Competitors say the fancy and floral outfits mark the start of spring. Put Your Listening Ears On, South Carolina is potentially gaining a new state song. Carolina When I Die by Patrick Davis is under consideration by the State House Education and Public Works Committee. Davis was just recently named the state's Poet Laureate, a poet officially appointed by the government. The Camden native performed the song over a live stream from members of the South Carolina General Assembly on March 24th.
Heaven is only in the sky, take me back to Carolina.
According to Yahoo News, committee chairwoman Representative Shannon Erickson said she liked the song so much that she made it her phone's ringtone. However, lawmakers find one lyric a bit questionable. A verse stating, "I have drank with kings and queens and senoritas of the night," has currently tabled the House's decision and will be reconsidered once the verse is changed. If accepted, Carolina When I Die will become South Carolina's 3rd state song. The first 2 state songs include Carolina, written by Henry Tirrett in 1911, and South Carolina on My Mind, written by Hank Martin and Buzz Alridge in 1984. Wicked is flying through the Koger Center right now, but the World Ballet Company is bringing back a classic to Koger later this month. Swan Lake is returning, but with a rare twist. While the famous ballet usually includes a recording of original composer Tchaikovsky's music, this performance will feature a live orchestra, giving the audience an opportunity to experience the notable composer's music along with the show in real time.
According to Cola Daily, the World Ballet Company is expanding its performances in their 4th season, including 180 cities across 40 states. Swan Lake will take the stage at USC's Koger Center on April 28th at 7:30. Tickets are available on the Koger Center's website.
Former University of South Carolina professor and artist Peter Lenzo passed away 2 years ago, but his art lives on. Lenzo devoted his life to the art of sculpture and was heavily influenced by the traditional African-American art of face jugs.
The Jasper Project will be hosting an exhibition of Lenzo's work at the Stormwater Studios titled Peter Lenzo, a retrospective and remembrance. The exhibit will run from April 3rd through April 12th and will feature over 30 pieces of Lenzo's work. This event also serves as the launch for the new book Peter Lenzo, In Memory of His Memory, and the premiere screening of an accompanying film by Columbia filmmaker Wade Sellers.
It's not a concert, but you might hear singing from the fairgrounds this Thursday night as students pull up for a drive-in screening of Pitch Perfect. This event is completely free to all USC students with a valid Carolina card.
While cars are encouraged, students are also welcome to bring blankets and lawn chairs to sit on, and shuttles will be running from 6:30 to 11 to take students to and from the event. Get ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy a Pitch Perfect night under the stars.
That's all we've got for entertainment tonight. Stay with us while we wrap up this show.
That wraps up tonight's edition of Student News at 7. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at SGTV at USC. To keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtv at usc.com. For SGTV, I'm Gabrielle Cassini. From all of us here at the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio, have a great night, Carolina, forever to thee.